the very first thing that you need to think about if you're going to choose to live kind of an off-grid or remote lifestyle is, more likely than not, you're going to be downsizing wherever you currently live. So the house that Luke and I chose is half the size of the house that we had when we lived in town. And so we had to get rid of a lot of our stuff. And I mean a lot, because this place also doesn't have a garage. There was no storage. And so we put some stuff in our own storage unit and then a lot of stuff we sold. Also, this house happened to come fully remodeled. And so it actually had furniture already in the house, which made it even more fun because then the furniture that I had, I actually stored. So I want to take you on a tour of inside of our home so you can kind of see what you might run into if you're thinking about, living off grid. So this is the outside of Luke and I's cabin. It needs quite a bit of work on the outside. We call it a cabin. You guys might call it a house. We plan on the future and redoing it, putting on some cabin siding, redoing the roof as well. So later on, I'm going to show you guys things to think about when you buy a property. More than likely, you're probably going to have to remodel. This house needs quite a bit of remodeling. It was built in 1997, and there's definitely things about it that need to be updated. On the inside, it has been updated, so that was a plus for us. It was just one less thing we had to do. The square footage on this house, it was listed as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's actually not a 2-bedroom. The upstairs doesn't have any kind of closet or anything like that. It's really a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with a loft. And, we went from about 2,000 and some square feet. I don't know. I think this one has about 900 square feet inside of it. So I'll take you guys on a tour and just kind of show you how we've had to adapt to living in a much smaller space with no garage and with no storage. So this is the entryway into our house. And this is the family room. This space was already decorated and everything was good to go. The one thing that didn't make any sense to my husband and I is there was a beautiful stone wood burning fireplace in here. The people that bought it after the original owner actually totally took out all of the stonework, the wood burning fireplace. This cabin has no heating source whatsoever. So we're actually going to have the fireplace rebuilt, which is crazy. Don't ask me why they did that, but they did. So that's one of the things that's on our list that immediately will need to be addressed before next winter. So this is kind of the living space. You can see it goes right on up to the staircase upstairs. And then you have this little bitty eating area. Table was here. The chairs were not comfortable. My husband and I do a lot of work from home, so we replaced the chairs and we added some furniture in here. And then you have your kitchen. So ladies and gentlemen, if you love to cook, not a lot of cooking space. I have a lot of things I used to cook with, and those are in storage right now. And then this leads you right into the bathroom, the only bathroom. So as you can see, this is a very, very small bathroom. So I can assure you many of the things that I used to have in my bathroom at home, I no longer have. I've gotten rid of them. There's also no air conditioning in this house. There's 2 window units, one that was in the dining room you probably saw, and then there's one in here. The reason for that is this is right beside our bedroom, and it gets super hot at night. So this is our little bedroom. And then you have a little closet. The other thing that needs to be addressed in this house are electrical issues. There's no light in this closet. So this is a super small closet, you guys. but we came up with a creative solution for that. But so that's it. Take you guys upstairs to the loft, where when my grandchildren come, this is where they stay, or my kids. Got a dog gate. We have 3 dogs, and I prefer they not come up here because they like to sneak up and do bad things. Also my office space, and then just got 2 queen beds up here. This is it. This is kind of the mud room, and so we store a lot of water in here. I'll explain to you guys why in just a minute, but this is kind of where our washer and dryer is at. So, ladies, clothes, and where do you store them? Because one tiny little closet is not going to work. They have an extra storage room in here. So here we had to store belongings, extra cooking things, got purses in here. We also put in closet space. So we've got lots and lots of room for closets, our winter clothes, coats. Back of the doors got tons of shoes on it. Eventually we're going to make this into a real walk-in closet, but right now it's just a temporary closet. So the funny thing about this closet is the light up here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So we definitely have to get an electrician out here to resolve this issue because it probably could be dangerous. So one thing that we've ran into at this house is it does have a well. However, we're actually having somebody come out next week to redo the well. We have hardly any water pressure at all, which is super problematic when it comes to washing dishes or washing your clothes. Our clothes on the washing machine will typically time out about 6 times during a cycle because of a lack of water pressure. So you can also forget about trying to take a shower if anything else is running. It's not going to happen. So in the well, they've also put in, we have extremely high amounts of iron and magnesium. So everything is orange. Rinse your clothes if they're light colored. And I have to put vinegar in with the washing detergent to keep the orange from happening. But your sinks, your toilets, they're extremely difficult to clean. And also, if you've ever had a lot of iron in your water before, it has a super funky smell. And then ladies, if you get your hair colored like I do, it can turn your hair super interesting colors. So we have extra water that we use to clean and rinse things off with, including our face, our toothbrush, my hair, and things like that. I'm going to show you guys the water pressure just so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's it barely trickles out. So this is the water pressure, you guys. I mean, it barely trickles out. And so washing dishes or laundry, or even washing soap out of your hair, this will show you. That's as good as it gets. So hopefully next week we get this resolved. So the other thing that I mentioned to you guys is just the cost. When you buy a property that is remote or off-grid, oftentimes they're going to need a lot of remodeling. And this house is no different. So I just want to show you some of the biggest things. I mentioned to you guys the electric's got to be fixed. Water is top of the mind. We've definitely got to get that fixed. But there's also structural things. I mentioned to you guys the wood burning fireplace. They took it completely out of the house. There's no heat source whatsoever. And so that's another thing that has to be addressed. In addition to that, there's physical structural things on this house that we're also going to need to take care of as soon as possible. So one of the top things is the deck. Not only is it old and needs to be replaced, it's also not actually supported by anything. So it was built with just the structure setting on rocks and dirt. It wasn't put into concrete or anything like that. So if you come up here really close, and then I'll take you for a look. You guys are gonna love this. So it's literally setting just like this. It's crazy. And then if I bring you up to the deck, and we come up here on top and we take a closer look at it, you're gonna see how far this deck has moved away from the house. It's literally not sitting on anything. Then they built a brand new second floor deck, which would seem like this is just great, except it doesn't have the correct support structures. And when you look at the beams that are running underneath the deck, they too are not supported by anything. This at one time was a beautiful, massive deck. So it goes forever. It goes all the way down the side of this mountain and into what was a really large pool. This was like 13 feet long. Luke and I have no interest in redoing this pool. We had a pool in Texas. We loved it, but it was a lot of work. It's a lot of money. With the trees surrounding this pool, while we think it's beautiful, it would just be too much. So we plan on redoing the decking and taking the pool out and then building down there like a really nice fire pit, putting in a jacuzzi, a sauna, you know, nice lights down there. The landscaping underneath, it's already been cleared out. It's got sand, so it's a really nice flat area. And so that's kind of our future plan. But yes, all of this has to be taken out. All of this has to be redone. So this is where the wood burning fireplace was at that they took out. Chimney's still here. We would need to replace it. We'd like to have it all rocked back in when we redo the outside of the house, so it'd look really nice. This siding is in really bad shape. It's the original siding. It's definitely got to go, and we want to replace all of that with like cabin wood siding. So one of the first things that Luke and I had to think about when we moved out here was trash. And boy, did we make some big mistakes. At first, we decided we're just gonna burn the trash. That seems like a really perfectly great idea, except for the fact that even when you have a burn barrel and you burn your trash, the black bears would still sift through it and cause a major mess that we would have to pick up. So that was not a good idea. Also, you can't burn year round. I mean, when things get dry, you're at a super high risk for a fire. Not a good idea. So that also doesn't work. We actually got a trash service that does come once a week, but we've got to take a drive. It's a little over a mile on the four-wheeler to take the trash down. We're not complaining. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful drive, but it's just something to think about. I mean, when it's really, snowing or pouring down rain, you're still dragging the trash down there, then you're picking up the trash barrel and you're bringing it all the way back up. The other thing on this property, as far as trash went, it had been neglected for a few years. There were things all over the 100 acres. I mean, just trash put wherever. So we had to get 2 different construction trailers just to clean up and pick up the property. So they could bring those up here, but they're not able to come up once a week just to pick up regular trash. So just something to think about. So you might be saying, wow, let's see, electric doesn't work, their water's an issue, the deck's falling off. Why would anybody want to live this kind of lifestyle? Well, we've got 100 acres here of some of the most beautiful land you've ever seen. We've got a natural spring, we have waterfalls, we have these beautiful trees. If you're deciding that you want to live remotely or you want to live off grid, believe me, you're not coming for the quality of water, electric, or how nice your deck looks. That's not what any of us are doing this for. We live this lifestyle because we love nature and we love beauty and we love animals, and that's why we're here. So we're going to take you guys on a drive, which will show you just how beautiful this is, just to go down a mile or so to pick up our trash can. But anyway, you're just going to see on the drive why we live this lifestyle and why we love it so much. So while there might be a lot of things to think about that could be problematic for you, there's also 100 reasons why this is a great decision for people to make, and why I love the lifestyle and why it's so peaceful, that I hope we live here forever.
Every Tuesday, since we live remote, way up on the mountain, I have to come down here, bring the trash. They pick it up on Wednesday morning, and that's it. It is about a mile drive all the way down here. So I just use the old handy four-wheeler with the trailer. Have my straps already set up here. We can get this off. Gotta load up the trash here. Just strap it down. Pretty easy. Plunge it through here. Zip tie. Drill and just drill a couple holes in here, but you have to make sure that they come up and they tighten like that. They'll tighten them on all four sides like that. And like that, and so on the other side. It's really good. The bears can't get in here.